Hi, this is Mjfontaine, and it's episode 15 of the Mjfontaine Podcast. And I've decided not to have intro music because I wanted to get right into this podcast. Off the back of last week, we had quite a full-on week last week. I was talking about hormones and being childless. I spoke about my story and the stats of women, and I didn't realize how much people really needed that podcast, especially the one on fibroids, because there are so many women suffering from fibroids that I just really wanted to talk about it. And, general hormone conditions such as, menopause or perimenopause or premenopause symptoms. And really trying to manage that. So it was a really great discussion. I'm trying to put on another talk, but I actually have a program running that's due to be running regarding women and hormones. So it's balancing your hormones, and that's going to be running for 4 weeks, which is a personal coaching plan with an extension of a group support group that goes with it. So if you know anybody, if you can just forward my website details, or they can connect with me via info@mjfontaine.co.uk. Okay, so today we're talking about healing from broken places, and again, last week we spoke about fibroids, and a lot of people having fibroids and recovering from fibroids, and the statistics of women that are suffering from fibroids. And I spoke to quite a number of women who are recovering from, quite severe physical ailments, but the root cause of these physical ailments are emotional, mental conditions. And it's actually looking at how we heal from, we come back from healing, from a place where we're broken. With the current climate we live in right now, is there such thing as an unbroken place, because we are, or a normal place, because people go through so much at the moment that it's quite the norm to be coming back from somewhere which we deem, or we kind of state that is a broken place, because it seems like every day there's something to test us and to challenge us. So it's kind of debatable whether there is such thing as a broken place, or is that broken place the norm. But I want to talk about, maybe for us to think about, really severe situations, coming back from an abusive childhood or an abusive relationship, or abusing drugs, or just general, bereavement, the major life events that affect us as human beings. How do we come back from them? How do we start growing? And also there's the other thing about the broken place where we inherit. So our parents could be in a broken place, or caregivers could be in a broken place, and we inherit that. And so we go through life with a story, and believing that it's ours. And sometimes you see some people in the media and they come back from a broken place, and they're back down again, and they come back up and they're back down, and it's like the worst things that could happen to a human being happens to those people. And I think that it happens to a lot of people. It's just that these people are in the media. But it's like, what do we choose? Do we choose healing from an adult point of view, which is a healthy point of view, or do we choose it from a perpetrator or victim? And where are we looking at our healing, and how are we doing it? and what are the, I would probably like to discuss, what are the main, the main things that we can do to help us come back from broken places. So I spoke to several people, and obviously I work as a coach. I work with people, as well as my other love being an artist and creator. I would say I'm a creator of things. Um, and when I discuss with people, with women and men, what do they do to come back from a place? It's really interesting because when I speak to the men, they were like, I take each day as at a time. I just go through the motions of life, and I just concentrate on work, or I just keep to my space, keep to myself, and just go about my duties. So it's a very, for some men, it's very much a routine, a discipline. This is how they cope, and this is how they get back to a place. It's just focusing on something external, physically, that can help center them. With women, some women will put their head into work. Other women would probably go to do exercise, keep fit. Keep fit is really old now, isn't it? But work out. Some women will take a class, go swimming. Some women will go and do yoga. And then you've got a lot of the millennials these days who are really into wellness, so they'll listen to podcasts, or they may go to events, art events, creative events where they can meet other people. So there's a range of things that people will do. But when I think about the people that have overcome really, strong challenges, I find that these people have what I would call, the new word would be wellness, but it would be a self-care kit or a self-care practice, a proper self-care practice where, not proper self-care practice, emergency self-care kit or first aid. So they would have, they would be part of a regular group of people where they're part of something. So they maybe a church, it may be a meeting group, it may be a networking group, it could be an online group. So they have that regular routine of being amongst the same people. So that sense of belonging is really important, and community. And then they will have their own practice. It could be walking, it could be running, something that they do daily. Even though they may stop those habits for a while, they'll come back to that. And then they'll always have a policy where every so often they have their sauna, they have their massage, they have their facial. So some kind of self-care pampering. And it's different to them pampering themselves, because that's what they do anyway on a weekly basis maybe. But actually paying or saving some money to get a treatment from somebody else. So getting an exchange of energy with somebody that's really clearing them. They can be passive for a moment, because even if unless you're having a pampering bath, but if you're doing your eyebrows, you're painting your toenails, or you're washing your hair and styling it, you're still active. But if somebody else is doing that for you, it's a passive action. It's a yin, Y-I-N, a yin action as opposed to a yang. So you're in a place of receiving, so it's really important. So this is another thing they tend to do. So, they walk, they belong to something, they have a spiritual practice, could be prayer, meditation. So that is really strong as well. They journal, self-reflect, so they reflect. So they have an interior life. And another key thing is that they're always willing to learn something new. So they're always extending themselves. They may be changing their career or upgrading their skills to something new. That's a really big indicator of coming back from a broken place. So it sounds like a lot, but they're actually really looking after themselves in terms of, using that tragedy or that sudden change their life as a way to transform or reinvent themselves. So reinvention, sometimes it's really good because it's like, okay, what do I need to learn? What can I do to make myself feel better? And I think it's really important in terms of wellness is to learn something new. And I always say to people, it's, a lot of people come to me and they say, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know what to do. And I say to them, just do anything. So instead of thinking about what career you may do, go and learn a crochet or painting by numbers or massage or, anything. Just go and learn something new, because what that does is that bypasses your TikTok mindset, which is ticking, ticking, ticking all the time. And it enables you to create a space where you can just have a pause and really feel good about yourself. So it's really important that you, follow those steps. So firstly, acknowledging where you've come from, that something has happened, joining a group of like-minded people over a period of time. So not just for once or twice, but consistently, which lasts longer than 6 months. Journaling, which is obviously I'm not doing in order. Journaling, pampering every so often. So going to get a massage, going to get a facial, walking or exercise, which is really important, and learning, learning something new so you can move forward. So those are the main things, an internal life, prayer or meditation. Okay, again, the biggest indicator of radical change or radical support is seeing a counsellor or a coach or a therapist of some sort that is actually going to help you move through. That is I would say that would be the priority, but that would be like the first steps to get you through. That would be there to support you, but for self-help would be the things that I've listed. So broken places, it is a place where a lot of the times we do not talk enough about what's going on. And if you give me a comment, I think I want to explore broken places and healing from broken places in terms of stories and the stories of people that have come back from their broken places. So again, it's something that I'd probably bring a guest on next, but I just wanted to give people something as opposed to just talking about the broken places and the places where we are broken. I wanted to concentrate on the places where we are healing. This is a short one today because I just wanted to upload the information rather than spend time preparing it, trying to get ready, trying to think about it. I really think it's important that I get these podcasts out when the inspiration is here and I can actually impart the information in a proper way, because life gets in the way, and I just want to make sure that I get these podcasts out. But I've reprogrammed, or I've listed that I wanted to cover, so I meet my goals. And it can support those of you who need it. So I've got my program, Balancing Hormones with Marilyn, or Hormones, Health and Menstruation. It's actually on my website, mjfontaine.co.uk. You can check me on Instagram, mjfontaine, for my health and wellness page and general life, or you can look at my art page, Mjfontaine Art on Instagram, and Marilyn Fontaine Art on Facebook, and I'll leave all the links below in the comments. So till next week, I wish you a great weekend, and don't forget to keep in touch with any suggestions that you may have, and don't forget to support me on Patreon so we can keep this podcast going. This is Marilyn Fontaine signing off. Bye-bye.